Hilarious as always. How are you, fellas and ladies?
Hey, mate.
Yeah. Some of you fuckers are pretty big targets. I expect it's, a little bit slimmer, but all good, all good. Sorry, young fella, you're going to learn some new words here today.
You learned plenty well.
Yeah,
I was going to say, with paintballs, he probably knows more than words.
Hey, first of all, I'd like to big thank you to Hayden for organising this. He got in touch with me about nearly a year ago and said he was going to organise this. He said, I'm going to raise some money and we're going to raise some money for your charity. And to be honest, we have lots of dudes saying we're going to do this and we're going to do that. 99% of them don't follow through. So I'm really stoked that Hayden did this. I'm stoked that you guys have all got in behind it and supported it. I should briefly talk about how I got involved in this, how I went from being a stand-up comedian to working in schools. I was a stand-up comedian for over 20 years, pretty cool job, you know. In my former life, I used to get to stand on stage, swear at white people and get paid for it. Every Māori's dream job. And one other Māori fella I know who does this for a living, his name's Honi Harawira. I'm kidding, he lost his job, it's just me. So I was doing this for about 20 years, and about 4 years ago I got asked to go and speak up at a school in Northland, type of area school, after 5 kids took their lives in the space of 2 months. What qualified me to go up and talk, I was running a little radio show called the Nutters Club, where people just got up on the radio and talked about their journey through mental unwellness, allowed other people to recognise their journey in someone else's story and basically make it okay to ask for help. So I went up there and I didn't know what I was going to do when I got there. I just thought I was going to go up there and tell some jokes and cheer these kids up. And when I got to the school, there was only 150 kids at the school, and you quickly realise the toll that death of 5 young people has on a small community. And the time that it took me to walk from the back of the hall to the front, I knew jokes weren't gonna be appropriate. So I got up there and I just started talking about, my hassles going through life, my hassles at school. I just talked about what school was like for me. When I was at school, I had no self-esteem, major self-esteem issues. Didn't like who I was. When I was a young fella, I was an ugly child. I know it's hard to believe looking at me now. When I was growing up, man, I was one of those real ugly kids, 4'11", buck teeth, big ears, huge head. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, big fella? And basically I was talking to these kids about my inner critic. That little wee voice that everyone has that undermines their way of thinking, especially when you're down in the dumps. That little wee voice that beats you up all day and tells you you're useless and tells you you're hopeless and undermines your logical thinking. And I think for these kids, I was the first person, or the first adult that talked about their problems, and they went from leaning back in their chairs thinking, who the hell's this dickhead, to actually looking forward and actually going, can you believe this shit? Can you believe he's talking about this? And what I found out at the end was, I was basically the first flawed adult in these kids' lives. And our kids, they live, they think they're living in a world of perfect adults. They think that they live in a world where you have to be hard and staunch. Why? Because that's the message we give them. How many people here have kids that are still at school? So what I've learned in the journeys around schools is that in school, 40% of school-age kids will have a suicidal thought before they leave school. 40%. Whether it's a one-off fleeting thought, or whether it's a recurring thought that grinds them down on a daily basis, 40%. How many people are shocked by that? My question is, why are you shocked? How many people here have never had a suicidal thought in their life? Show of hands if you've never had one. One dude who needs counselling. Seriously, dude, you never had a suicidal thought? Ever? You never stood beside on the side, you've been at the top of the Sky Tower? Yeah, and did you look down and go, fuck, I wonder what happened if I fell? Did you do that? You were too impressed by the view. Fuck, you need to live more, brother. Seriously. So one dude in this whole, that's 99% of us have had a suicidal thought. Why the hell are we, why are we shocked when 40% of our kids have those thoughts? It's just a thought. The problem we got with New Zealand society is we're telling kids there are good thoughts and bad thoughts. There are no good thoughts or bad thoughts, they're just thoughts. But as soon as you tell a kid they can't think about something, what happens? They think about it. We told them you can't think about suicide, you're not allowed to, it's a terrifying word. If you think about it, you're probably going to kill yourself, and if you talk about it, your mates are probably going to kill themselves. It's ridiculous. You know, it's like saying, you go up to a 3-year-old boy and say, hey kid, you're not allowed to think about lollies. What's he going to fucking do? Go up to a 13-year-old boy and say, you're not allowed to think about titties. All you're going to think about for the rest of the day. Yeah, that's what I mean. So
What's worse, mate? They're going to be men's titties.
There are no good thoughts, there are no bad thoughts, they're just thoughts. So we got to stop putting this, this horror around this word and making out like it's, it's a major deal. We've all had a thought, fuck, why can't we talk about it? That's me. So 40% of kids will have a suicidal thought. No big deal. But there are literally thousands of kids out there that have recurring thoughts of suicide on a daily basis. And we can all agree, right? If a kid's having a suicidal thought on a recurring basis, they should all reach out and ask for help. Hands up if you agree. Okay, if a kid's having a recurring thoughts of suicide, we should all do everything that we can to help support that kid. Hand up if you agree. Here's the problem we've got. 80% of kids who have recurring thoughts of suicide never ask for help ever. Ever. Why? Because they're worried about what other people will think, they're worried about what other people will say, and they're worried about what other people will do. They're worried about upsetting their parents. A lot of kids out there, man, why don't you talk to your parents? You love your parents. My parents sacrificed everything for me. I don't want to make them feel stink. They shouldn't have to feel like that. I shouldn't be feeling like this. Our kids think that they shouldn't be, having these thoughts, and they feel stink about it, so they don't talk. So basically, they're worried about what other people will think, say, or do. In other words, they're worried about us. They're worried about us. Every single person here would do everything in their power to help a young person who is going through suicide, right? Suicidal thinking. But our kids are too scared to talk to us. On the figures that I just told you, 40% of kids having a suicidal thought, every single person here must have been approached by a young person in their life at some stage who's come up to them and said, dude, I'm having these suicidal thoughts, can I talk to you? And I guarantee you 95% of us have never had that conversation. And we've got to ask ourselves why, Everyone's asking, what's the fucking government doing? What are the DHBs doing? What are mental health services? My question is, what are we doing? What are we doing? If kids don't feel like they can talk to us, every single one of us should go home and look in the mirror and say, what's stopping kids coming up and talking to me? Even bigger than that, what's stopping my mates from doing it? One of the biggest groups the biggest group in New Zealand taking their lives is men. Men, over 450 men took their lives last year. Biggest group in those men 44 to 55. Middle-aged white dudes. None of them are saying anything either. No one's talking. I get heaps of people coming to see me all the time. Seriously, all the time. And I ain't no better than any of you guys. I'm no different from you. I'm no fucking, knight in shining armor. The only thing that I've done that you guys haven't done is this. I've made it public that anyone who's having a suicidal thought can come and talk to me at any time they want. I won't shame them. I won't judge them. I won't make them feel stink. I won't ask them any stupid questions. I won't try and fix them. I ain't qualified to fix anyone. All you'll get from me is unconditional love and hope. That's it. And if you want to go and talk to someone, fuck it, I'll come with you. I'll come with you. One of the biggest fears that we all have is, if I go and talk to someone, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Going to walk in that door and some dude with a butterfly net's going to be there, off to the nut house. No, I don't want to go. We don't know what's going to happen. So we need to support each other. We need to support our mates. Men, you've got to stop being so fucking staunch. Seriously. We're constantly telling our kids that we need to talk, right? We're always saying, you fucking talk to me, you got to talk to me, you got to talk to me. But when you're having problems, the last thing you do is fucking talk. You all walk around being fucking staunch and sucking it up, and these young fellas, they look at you and go, well, that's what heroes do, that's what I'm going to do. But they're not capable of walking around with this stuff. They're not capable, they don't have the tools, they don't have your life's experience. So we, as men, we've got to set a better example. Stop telling kids what to do. Start showing them what to do. When we're going through a hard time, talk about it. Because our attitude, seriously, is killing these kids, man. They want to be just like us. Heaps of you guys here, you have teenage sons who you think don't listen to you and don't respect you. They're just being like you. They're just behaving like you behave with your mates. You don't talk to your mates, so they just behave exactly the same. But in their hearts, you're still their hero, man. So we've got to start telling our kids we love them every day. Every day. We've got to tell our mates we love them. Blokes spend more time with our mates. We spend more times with our mates than we do with our own kids. Do you know how much the average time a male spends with their kids Monday to Friday? 4.5 minutes. 4.5 minutes. I know blokes are sitting there going, oh, fuck off, I get home at 4 o'clock and I don't leave till 6. Sitting in front of the TV saying nothing isn't spending time with your kids. Sitting in the car having a conversation in your head isn't spending time with your kids. Sitting at the table telling them what a fuck up they are is not spending time with your kids. Actually listening, validating their thoughts and opinions, that's spending time. There's two things our kids want, and this is not my opinion, this is what 160,000 kids have told me. One, they want to be loved. Two, they want to know that you believe in them. They want to know that their thoughts and opinions are valued by you. That's what they want. I got 6 kids. I'm fucking shit with my kids, man. I'm awesome with your kids. I'm shit with my own kids. Why? I love my kids. I don't love your kids, so I'm awesome with your kids. Just because, when you love someone, you make it personal. You make it about you, So when I talk about parenting, I don't talk about parenting of my own kids. I'm shit with my kids. It's about parenting other people's kids and being there for other people's kids, your sister's kids, your brother's kids. Allowing your kids to talk to someone, and talking to their kids. These are the things that we have to do, man. Kids tell me all the time, whenever we come to you, I said, why do you talk to your parents? Because whenever we go to my parents, they make it about them and they make us feel worse. Oh, yeah? They said, yeah, and they gave me some examples, and it's true. My kid came home the other day, told me about 5 things he did in his day. 4 of them were amazing, 1 of them was bad. What did I focus on? How many fucking times have I told you, mate? Jesus Christ, You gotta fucking pull your finger out of your ass or you're never gonna get to anything. What I think I'm saying to my son is, hey man, I love you. You're an amazing kid, but I know you can do better. The message he gets is, no matter what I do, I'm never gonna be good enough for you. We're constantly pushing them with the schooling bullshit. School's everything, school's everything, school's everything. There are 130 mums and dads out there this year that would say, fuck school, I'd do anything to have my kid back. Time, man. That's what our kids want. They want time. You know, they don't want to be criticised. They want to be praised. You know, I was one of those staunch Kiwi males who used to think about my kids, and I used to think, oh, you know, you can't fucking be soft on your kids. You got to be hard. They'll grow up soft. Bullshit. It's bullshit. It's a myth. Self-esteem comes from validation, man, from sitting down and listening and talking to our kids and letting them talk back. I challenge every single one of you to think back, especially you blokes, think back to that time when you were growing up, when your old man and that 1 in 100 times, only 1 in 100, patted you on the head instead of kicking you in the ass. And I guarantee you, you'll remember that as one of the fucking greatest days of your life. That's what our kids want, we've forgotten. So that's my message here. You know, suicide prevention doesn't start with all these stupid fucking programs that we spend millions of dollars on. It's on us. It's on us. Just bringing our kids along to paintball games and having fun and making them feel like, you know, they're part of our world and we value them. So, that's my message here today. But finally, I just like to, seriously, I want to thank all of you guys for doing what you do. I mean, just the fact that you're here supporting is amazing. Now, one last thing before I go. So, of that 80% of kids who never ask for help, 100% of them want help, but they don't know who's safe. They don't know who to ask. So we came up with a really simple concept of an identifying bracelet, just a piece of rubber. An identifying bracelet that signifies safe. If you're wearing one of these bracelets, what you're saying to anyone who's struggling is, I'm here for you. You can come and talk to me. I won't judge you. I won't shame you. I won't make you feel worse. I won't ask you stupid questions. I won't try and fix you. I'm not qualified to fix you. All you'll get from me is unconditional love and hope. And if you want to talk to someone, I'll come with you. But it also says to all those people out there with 1990s thinking who are constantly making comments like anyone who's suicidal is a loser, pussy, gay-bo, whatever, all of those coward drama queens, that your opinion's not welcome here anymore. Your opinion is killing our kids. So if you want one of these, I've got a whole lot, I want to leave them with Hayden, but just because you're wearing one of these too doesn't mean, you know, that, you know, you got to get suddenly inundated with people. You know, people are going to run up and go, hey dude, fuck, I'm glad you're wearing that bracelet. I want to kill myself. Can I talk to you? It won't happen. It won't happen. But anyone here who's struggling, and I guarantee you don't know this, I guarantee you there's at least 5 people here right now who are struggling. Guaranteed. And you'll never know who they are. The only way you're ever going to find out who they are is if we create an environment where it's okay for them to actually talk to you about that shit. You look at all of that, all of those bits of paper that say, what do you look out for in someone who's suicidal? I mean, if you paid any attention to that, you'd be looking for some guy who's sitting in a corner fucking crying. Real suicidal people. I go to heaps of suicide funerals, man. I've been to fucking heaps of them. I don't want to go to any more. But everyone's the same. Everyone's standing there going, fuck, he was amazing, man. Funniest guy ever, had heaps of mates. Fuck, he was awesome. She was amazing. She was always there for everybody else. The only way we're going to find out who these people are is if we change our attitude. Every one of us here changes our attitude and makes it okay for anyone, our friends, young people, anyone, to go, hey man, I'm struggling. Have you got my back? That's all we need. That's all we need to change these numbers around. So I'll leave these with Hayden. You're going to be here for the next couple of days. Again, man, you know, I'm an optimist. I believe that we can stop every suicide in this country. I believe it, man. You know, and I believe that anyone who doesn't believe that and that's being paid to do this work should get the fuck out. You know, so we don't accept any government money. That's why Hayden's money means so much to us. When you accept government money, you've got to accept their rules, and their rules are killing people. So fuck them. We go into schools. We don't charge schools anything. I've been in Blenheim all week, Wellington all week, just talking to schools. We don't charge schools anything. We don't charge them. We bring all the resources in. We don't ask them to cover costs. We don't believe kids should have to pay for this stuff. We only go where we're invited, and we just do our thing independently, and we get by on donations from people like you. So thanks very much for listening, and go out and shoot some people.
You volunteer.
Anyone got any questions? I don't mind if you have any questions. No, bro. Fuck, I'm too old.
Yeah, put him in the jeep.
Yeah, but I'm old and smart.
What do you call him?
No, but I'm good. I've got to go up to Cheviot and talk to some farmers. That's where I'm off to now. Yeah. Well, their communities are really staunch, so breaking through them will be doing alright. Cool, guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Shoot some of these old bastards.
He has been. Yeah.